Today we'll delve into the history and design of the iconic First Order capital ship, Resurgent-class Star Destroyer. Fasten your seatbelts and subscribe for more Star Wars content. Nordy is here and it's time to get started. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer of the First Order is one of the most powerful warships in the galaxy, featuring an extensive array of weapons designed to deliver both overwhelming offensive firepower and reliable defensive capabilities. Its armament is built to dominate the battlefield, with a combination of heavy turbo-laser batteries, point defense systems, ion cannons, and missile emplacements, all carefully designed and positioned for maximum strategic impact. The primary weapon system aboard the Resurgent class consists of 20 dual heavy turbo-laser batteries, split across 4 forward-mounted units and 16 port and starboard-mounted units. These primary turbo-lasers are capable of delivering devastating, Teraton-level energy blasts designed to cripple or annihilate enemy capital ships from great distances. They are powered by Tibana gas, a highly efficient fuel source that ensures both exceptional energy output and long-lasting efficiency. These turbo-lasers have an effective firing range that extends tens of thousands of kilometers, making them lethal at long-range engagements. Each battery can fire 1 to 2 shots per second, providing consistent firepower over sustained periods. The aiming speed of these batteries is highly rapid due to advanced servo motor systems, which enable them to track even fast-moving targets at extreme distances. This makes the Resurgent class particularly effective against smaller, more agile ships, while still maintaining the firepower needed to engage larger opponents. In addition to these primary turbo-laser batteries, the Resurgent class is equipped with 8 broadside-mounted twin dual and single heavy turbo-laser batteries, arranged along its flanks. These weapons provide coverage along the ship's sides, ensuring that the Resurgent class can engage targets from multiple angles, making it an incredibly versatile combatant. These broadside turbo-lasers are also powered by Tibana gas, ensuring a reliable and efficient energy supply. Their firing range is comparable to that of the primary turbo-lasers, effective at medium to long ranges, typically up to several tens of thousands of kilometers. The rate of fire is again similar to that of the primary batteries, allowing for 1 to 2 shots per second, ensuring continuous suppression fire in long-range engagements. The aiming speed of these broadside turbo lasers is also high, allowing the Resurgent class to rapidly switch between multiple targets or defend against multiple threats approaching from different directions. For more precise, concentrated firepower, the Resurgent class features 2 lower-mounted heavy triple turbo laser turrets. These weapons are designed to deal heavier damage with a more focused beam, capable of delivering immense destructive power. However, they have a slightly slower rate of fire compared to the other turbo lasers, typically firing 1 shot per second. These turrets are optimized for medium-range engagements, typically effective within several thousand kilometers, and are particularly useful for engaging large, slower-moving targets like enemy capital ships or fortified space stations. Due to their placement at the lower hull of the ship, these turrets have a more limited firing arc and are slower to reposition compared to other turbo lasers, making them less suited for high-speed engagements. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer also possesses a wide array of turbo-laser cannons, spread across the upper and lower sections of the ship. These cannons provide approximately 100 turbo-laser batteries, distributed in 8 middle, 22 port, and 22 starboard configurations on the upper side, and 24 port and 24 starboard batteries on the lower side. These weapons are primarily used for engaging smaller targets, such as enemy starfighters, corvettes, and frigates, while still providing sufficient firepower to deal with larger vessels. These turbo-lasers are designed for rapid, continuous fire, with a rate of fire that is significantly higher than that of the heavier turbo-lasers, capable of 3 to 4 shots per second. They are ideal for maintaining suppression fire against smaller craft, preventing enemy fighters from closing in on the Resurgent class and overwhelming its defenses. The turrets on the Resurgent class are equipped with advanced tracking systems, enabling them to quickly adjust their aim, providing a high aiming speed that ensures they can target fast-moving ships even at long ranges, typically effective within several thousand kilometers. In addition to its primary and secondary turbo lasers, the Resurgent class is equipped with point defense laser cannon batteries. These 6 batteries, located at the rear of the ship, are designed to intercept incoming missiles and enemy starfighters that attempt to breach the ship's outer defenses. These point defense weapons have an extremely high rate of fire, capable of delivering 6 to 7 shots per second, which allows them to neutralize smaller threats such as missiles and bombers before they can cause significant damage. The point defense cannons have a relatively short effective range, generally up to several hundred kilometers, but their firepower and speed make them an essential component of the ship's defensive arsenal. These weapons also feature sophisticated targeting algorithms that allow them to track and destroy incoming projectiles with exceptional accuracy. In addition to the lasers, the Resurgent class carries at least 2 point defense quad concussion missile emplacements, which add another layer of defense against large missiles or bombers. These missile emplacements are positioned at strategic points around the ship, allowing for effective coverage in areas that are otherwise vulnerable to enemy missile attacks. The concussion missiles fired by these emplacements are equipped with proximity detonators, ensuring that they explode near the target, causing significant damage. These missile systems are typically effective within a range of 10 kilometers, and they can fire in rapid bursts, sending a volley of projectiles toward incoming threats. The targeting systems of these emplacements are capable of tracking multiple targets at once, providing overwhelming firepower in close-range engagements. Finally, the Resurgent class is equipped with tractor beam projectors. These are used to capture enemy vessels or prevent smaller craft from escaping combat zones. The tractor beams can engage targets at ranges of several kilometers, with the technology relying on Tabana gas and superconducting power conduits to deliver a sustained beam without excessive power loss. These projectors are typically used to immobilize smaller ships or secure larger targets for boarding operations. The targeting system for the tractor beams can track and hold multiple targets at once, even those that are attempting to evade capture. To maintain the integrity of its armament, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is equipped with highly advanced cooling systems that prevent its weapons from overheating during prolonged combat. These systems use cryogenic heat dispersal units, as well as superconducting conduits to efficiently dissipate heat generated by the ship's weapons, particularly the turbo laser batteries and ion cannons. Additionally, the ship's Tabana gas compression chambers help regulate energy flow and minimize overheating, ensuring that the weapons can continue to fire without compromising performance. The advanced cooling systems are complemented by integrated fire suppression technology, designed to rapidly extinguish any fires caused by weapon discharges, preventing damage to critical systems. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is also equipped with the Integrated Predictive Combat Network, IPCN, an advanced combat system that calculates optimal firing solutions based on real-time sensor data, environmental conditions, and enemy movements. The IPCN enables the turbo lasers, ion cannons, and point defense weapons to fire with exceptional accuracy, even against rapidly moving or highly evasive targets. The network integrates all weapon systems into a single, highly coordinated strike force, allowing for synchronized attacks on multiple targets at once. This capability is essential for maintaining battlefield dominance, allowing the Resurgent class to engage multiple threats from different directions without sacrificing firepower or precision. The ship's centralized targeting system ensures that all weapons are firing in harmony, significantly enhancing the effectiveness of the ship's armament during combat. The combination of heavy turbo lasers, rapid point defense systems, concussion missile emplacements, and tractor beams makes the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer one of the most formidable warships in the galaxy, capable of dealing with a wide array of threats while maintaining superior firepower across a vast range of distances. With its advanced weaponry and support systems, it represents the pinnacle of the First Order's military strength. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is powered by a complex propulsion system consisting of 11 engines that provide both sublight propulsion and hyperdrive capabilities. The system is designed for power and efficiency, but comes with some inherent trade-offs in terms of maneuverability, particularly at high speeds. At the heart of the propulsion system are 3 large KDY destroyer ion engines, which are the primary engines responsible for providing the bulk of the starship's sublight propulsion. These engines are capable of generating immense thrust, making the Resurgent class one of the fastest ships in the First Order fleet in a straight-line configuration. Along with these 3 large engines, the ship also houses 8 smaller Demon 8 ion engines strategically placed around the hull. These smaller engines play a crucial role in providing additional control, stability, and directional thrust, particularly when fine-tuning the ship's movement in tight spaces or during combat maneuvers. To handle the immense energy demands of these engines, the ship is equipped with a subsidiary reactor located in the stern of the vessel. This reactor, along with reactant silos and isotope containment wells, ensures a steady supply of energy to the engines during high-output operations. The coolant silo and pumps help maintain the temperature of the massive engines, ensuring that the system remains stable even during long-duration flights or high-speed pursuits. These cooling systems are vital for preventing overheating and ensuring the engines continue to operate at optimal levels, even during intense battle situations. The engines are equipped with main engine thrust nozzles around the large KDY destroyer ion engines, which help direct the massive thrust generated by these engines. In addition, secondary thrust nozzles are used for the smaller G-Man 8 ion engines to provide more refined control over the ship's movement, allowing for subtle adjustments to its trajectory. This gives the Resurgent class a level of agility in space that is necessary for avoiding enemy fire and engaging in close-quarters combat when required. However, these engines also come with a significant trade-off. At full speed, the ship sacrifices much of its maneuverability. This means that while the ship can theoretically achieve speeds faster than a TIE-FO space superiority fighter, it is extremely difficult to change course or react quickly to immediate threats while at such velocities. As a result, commanders of the Resurgent class must weigh the advantages of speed against the loss of agility in battle. Some might choose to push the engines to their limits, gaining fleeting advantages in speed during pursuit, while others prefer to prioritize maneuverability, especially in battle scenarios where evading incoming fire or quickly changing direction can be the difference between life and death. This flexibility, or lack thereof, in the ship's maneuvering ability makes it a vessel of strategic consideration in every engagement. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is also equipped with a hyperdrive generator located at the very end of the ship's aft section. This powerful device allows the ship to travel vast distances at faster-than-light speeds, making it capable of deep space operations and rapid deployment across the galaxy. The hyperdrive generator is an essential component of the ship's ability to strike quickly and efficiently, allowing it to engage enemies far from its point of origin and reposition its forces as needed for strategic dominance. The overall propulsion system, with its combination of powerful sublight engines and advanced hyperdrive capabilities, ensures that the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is an incredibly versatile and formidable warship, capable of both swift attacks and enduring presence in battle. However, the ship's heavy reliance on speed and power, balanced against its lack of agility, forces commanders to adopt careful tactical planning when engaging in combat. The SJFS-301, a primary hypermatter annihilation reactor, serves as the heart of the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, powering its complex systems and enabling it to perform its mission as a formidable battlecruiser. Housed within a dome-shaped reactor containment vessel located on the underside of the vessel, the reactor is carefully protected by a reinforced reactor superstructure and a hull chassis, which ensure its structural integrity even in the event of combat damage or mechanical failure. The reactor is situated in a region of the ship specifically designed to handle its vast energy output, and the ship's design emphasizes both the efficiency of energy production and the safety of its operation. The reactor generates power through a process of hyperspace annihilation, converting hyperspace matter into vast amounts of energy. This energy is then distributed through an intricate network of power conduits and distribution systems that connect various parts of the ship. This system ensures that every vital component, from the massive turbo laser batteries to the deflector shields, receives the necessary energy to perform at peak efficiency. The reactor's power is essential for keeping the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer operational, allowing it to carry out its functions in both offensive and defensive capacities. Its energy output is particularly crucial for powering the ship's extensive weaponry, including the dual heavy turbo laser batteries, ion cannons, and point defense systems, which require immense bursts of energy to fire. Additionally, the reactor provides the required energy for the ship's shielding systems, ensuring that the ship remains protected during combat. The deflector shields, which are vital for resisting incoming fire, draw power from the reactor to create a defensive energy field around the ship. The energy is also used to power the engines, including the KDY Destroyer ion engines and G-Man 8 ion engines, which propel the massive warship across the galaxy. This capability is vital for both combat maneuverability and long-distance travel, allowing the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer to chase down enemy vessels or execute long-range strategic operations. Given the immense energy demands of the reactor, effective cooling systems are crucial for maintaining a stable operation. The reactor operates at such high energy levels that without an efficient cooling system, it would overheat and fail. To prevent this, the reactor's cooling system relies on a series of subsidiary reactors, coolant silos, and pumps located at the ship's stern. These components help manage the heat generated by the reactor and dissipate it into space, ensuring that the core remains within safe operating temperatures. The reactant silos, which store additional materials for cooling purposes, further assist in maintaining a balanced temperature, and the isotope containment wells help manage the reactor's energy production while ensuring its continued safety. The subsidiary reactors at the rear of the ship provide additional power during peak energy demands and serve as an emergency backup should the main reactor experience any issues. The excess power produced by these reactors is directed through a series of power distribution channels, allowing the ship to sustain its energy demands even under heavy fire or during extended missions. The coolant pumps also ensure that the temperature remains under control during the ship's travel through space or combat engagements. These cooling mechanisms are vital to keeping the ship's systems functioning and preventing catastrophic damage to the reactor itself. Safety is paramount when dealing with such immense power, and the reactor is equipped with numerous redundant safety systems. These include automatic fuses that can detect and isolate faults in the reactor or power systems. If the reactor begins to operate outside of acceptable parameters, these fuses disconnect power from the affected circuits, preventing further damage to the ship's systems. Shielding systems also surround the reactor to prevent external damage from affecting its function. These shields are particularly important during combat, as they help absorb energy from external blasts that might otherwise compromise the reactor's integrity. The reactor is monitored by a team of engineers located on the Reactor Engineering Control Deck, a specialized area designed for overseeing reactor operations. Personnel on this deck are trained to perform routine maintenance, adjust the reactor's output as needed, and respond to any malfunction or emergency. This deck is equipped with advanced diagnostic tools and real-time monitoring systems that allow engineers to detect potential issues before they become critical. Redundant communication systems ensure that if one system fails, others will take over, allowing engineers to maintain full control over the reactor at all times. Despite the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer's vast energy requirements, the reactor is incredibly efficient, capable of generating enough power to sustain the ship's systems during prolonged engagements. The reactor's efficiency is crucial for maintaining operational readiness and supporting long-term missions, especially when the ship is engaged in deep space operations or combat missions far from resupply points. The integration of the reactor with the ship's cooling, shielding, and power distribution systems ensures that the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer remains operational under a variety of conditions, from full-throttle combat to extended missions in remote regions of space. The SJFS-3A1, a reactor, represents the pinnacle of first-order engineering, a highly sophisticated power plant capable of supporting one of the most advanced warships ever built. Its advanced cooling systems, power distribution mechanisms, and built-in redundancy ensure that the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer remains a dominant force on the battlefield, capable of performing its duties as a symbol of the First Order's power across the galaxy. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, also known as the Resurgent-class Battlecruiser, Resurgent Star Destroyer, or First Order Star Destroyer, was an imposing warship that represented the might of the First Order. With a length of 2,915.81 meters, the Resurgent class was nearly twice the length of the old Imperial-class Star Destroyers, making it an awe-inspiring sight in any battle. The ship's width measured 1,483.5 meters, and its height depth reached 496.89 meters. Its massive size was one of its defining features, with a design that seemed to dwarf most vessels in its class. A particularly impressive trait of the Resurgent class was its ability to dock with a mega-class star dreadnought, as 8 Resurgent-class vessels could fit into the docking bays of just one of these gargantuan ships. The Resurgent class was built with advanced ship-to-ship combat in mind. Its design emulated the dagger-shaped profile of the older Imperial-class Star Destroyers, but with improvements to increase both durability and combat effectiveness. A particularly notable feature of the Resurgent class's design was the inclusion of whole structural bracing in its midsection, which provided additional support and reinforced the ship's overall structural integrity. The bow of the ship was split in 2 along its sides, creating open spaces in the forward area, which were supported by a truss structure. This structural change not only enhanced the ship's stability, but also contributed to its menacing appearance and intimidating silhouette. The Resurgent class was not just a marvel of design and engineering. It also symbolized the First Order's power and influence, both on the battlefield and in the political sphere. The ship was built to dominate in combat, with advanced weaponry, shields, and propulsion systems, all designed to ensure the First Order's supremacy. Its sheer size and intimidating design were meant to strike fear into enemies and inspire pride among the First Order's ranks, who saw the Resurgent class as a beacon of their military might. In terms of combat capabilities, the ship was a clear evolution of the Star Destroyer design, making it one of the most advanced vessels of its time. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer served as a key component of the First Order's fleet, reinforcing the faction's ambitions of galactic conquest and dominance. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, while evoking the legacy of the Imperial I-class Star Destroyers, also drew inspiration from the Republic's Venator-class Star Destroyers. This blend of designs allowed the Resurgent class to achieve a more versatile and efficient warship that addressed some of the flaws in its Imperial predecessors. One of the most notable design features of the Resurgent class was its dorsal flight deck and side hangars, which were remnants of the design principles used during the Clone Wars. These features, inherited from the Venator class, greatly improved the ship's operational capabilities. The more efficient layout of the flight decks and hangar bays on the Resurgent class enabled it to launch its full complement of TIE fighters and bombers much faster than the Imperial-class Star Destroyers could manage. This advantage in fighter deployment proved crucial during large-scale engagements, where speed and precision in deploying starfighters could tip the balance of battle in the First Order's favor. In addition to the improvements in hangar operations, the Resurgent class also addressed several of the design flaws inherent in Imperial vessels. One such flaw was the exposed bridge on Imperial ships, a vulnerability that left command centers susceptible to direct hits in battle. The Resurgent class fixed this issue by integrating the bridge and command center more securely into the ship's structure, providing greater protection from enemy fire. This more tactical integration of the command area into the overall design further reinforced the Resurgent class's strength as a formidable warship. By combining elements from both the Republic and Imperial eras, the Resurgent class achieved a design that balanced speed, efficiency, and firepower. The ship stood as a testament to the First Order's understanding of previous failures and their commitment to designing a vessel capable of taking on a wide range of threats while upholding the intimidating presence of the Star Destroyer legacy. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer incorporated significant design modifications to its command bridge in order to address the lessons learned from the loss of the Executor during the Battle of Endor. One of the key changes was the off-center placement of the bridge, offering better protection and a more secure command center. The vulnerability of the exposed conning towers that were a hallmark of earlier Imperial-class vessels was eliminated. This redesign not only reduced the height of the bridge significantly, but it also introduced enhanced redundancy in command and control systems, ensuring the Resurgent class would be more resilient to attacks aimed at its command structure. To further improve the safety of the ship's officers, an emergency bridge was incorporated into the ship's midsection, well shielded from external threats. Unlike its predecessors, the emergency bridge was fully integrated into the ship's existing structure, reducing the risk of it being targeted in an attack. In the event of damage to the primary bridge, standby personnel stationed at the emergency bridge could swiftly take over control of the vessel's operations. This strategic placement added an additional layer of protection and command continuity. In line with the design philosophy of previous Star Destroyers, the Resurgent class also retained the use of sunken data pits, a feature inherited from the Clone Wars-era Venator-class Star Destroyers. These data pits were a deliberate design choice, as they not only served a functional purpose in organizing the crew and data processing, but also symbolized the hierarchical command structure of the First Order. Officers and senior personnel were stationed on raised platforms, while the lower-ranking crew members worked in the sunken pits. This arrangement emphasized the command chain, reinforcing a sense of discipline and structure aboard the vessel. Additionally, the bridge displays aboard the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer were simplified to enhance efficiency. With limited colors and a streamlined interface, the displays were designed to allow the bridge crew to process complex data much faster. The use of clearer, more concise displays ensured that key information could be relayed quickly to the command officers, facilitating more effective decision-making during combat operations. The combination of these elements, an off-center, better protected bridge, the emergency bridge for redundancy, and an emphasis on command hierarchy through sunken pits, made the Resurgent-class bridge a highly functional and secure environment, capable of managing the vast operations of the First Order's flagship warships. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, a dominant symbol of the First Order's military might, required an enormous and meticulously organized crew to ensure its continued operation and success. With a complement of 19,000 officers and 55,000 enlisted personnel, the ship was a microcosm of the First Order's obsession with control, efficiency, and precision. The crew's structure was rigorously defined, creating a highly disciplined and hierarchical environment. Officers held positions of authority across various departments, managing all aspects of the ship's operations, while enlisted personnel formed the backbone of the vessel's day-to-day functions. Every crew member, from the most junior enlisted to the highest-ranking officers, had a role to play in the ship's complex operation, whether it was maintaining weapons systems, overseeing combat strategies, or conducting repairs in the bowels of the vessel. Within the vast crew of the Resurgent class, the distinction between officers and enlisted personnel was sharply drawn, with officers enjoying privileges not available to the enlisted ranks. Access to restricted areas, including the primary command systems and advanced weaponry control rooms, was granted only to officers, marked by the presence of their rank cylinders, which acted as a form of security clearance. These rank cylinders were coded to grant access to key operational areas, maintaining a strict chain of command and ensuring that the enlisted personnel, no matter their expertise, remained confined to their respective sections. While officers were the strategic thinkers and decision-makers aboard the ship, the enlisted crew formed the backbone of the ship's operations, executing the daily tasks that kept the massive warship running efficiently. The senior officers, who were selected through intense training and high-level assessments, were given command over specialized departments and operations. These officers were seasoned and highly skilled, often selected from the ranks of the First Order Academy, and assigned directly to frontline vessels such as the Resurgent class. Many of these officers spent much of their early careers aboard these ships, learning the intricacies of military operations, tactics, and combat in a fast-paced, high-stakes environment. As a result, they were experts in their fields, whether overseeing engineering, communications, tactical operations, or security. While the officers held significant responsibilities, they were also highly reliant on the skills and expertise of the enlisted personnel, who worked tirelessly to ensure the smooth functioning of all systems, from weapons to navigation, communications, and even the specialized systems used to manage the Resurgent class's advanced technologies. The ship's immense size and operational complexity necessitated the division of the crew's work into carefully orchestrated shifts. The daily schedule aboard the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer was divided into 6 4-hour shifts, distributed across 3 main crew sections. This allowed the ship to remain in constant operation, with crew members rotating in and out of duty every few hours to ensure that no section was ever left unstaffed. Despite the grueling nature of the schedule, this system created a strong sense of unity and camaraderie among the crew, as they worked together in alternating teams to keep the warship functioning at its peak capacity. The crew members learned to rely on each other's expertise and capabilities, ensuring the ship remained a well-oiled machine at all times, whether on routine patrols or in the thick of battle. Training for enlisted personnel was a constant and essential part of life aboard the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer. Each enlisted crew member was subjected to a rigorous training regimen upon arrival, learning the ins and outs of the ship's vast array of systems. They were not only specialized in their own roles, whether as engineers, communications officers, or security personnel, but also had a broad understanding of the vessel's operations, enabling them to step in when needed in other critical areas. Training was a continuous process, with crew members constantly updating their knowledge of the Resurgent-class's advanced technology, as well as practicing simulated battle scenarios and participating in live fire exercises. This training ensured that every crew member, from the lowest-ranking enlisted to the highest-ranking officers, was prepared for any situation that might arise during the course of their service. Life aboard the Resurgent class was heavily regimented and structured, with little room for personal deviation from duty. However, within the confines of this strict military structure, there was also a strong sense of community and purpose. Crew members were acutely aware of their place within the larger framework of the First Order, which was centered around the ideal of maintaining order through control, strength, and discipline. Many of the officers and enlisted personnel had grown up in the ranks of the First Order, having been raised and trained for service in these exact conditions. For them, the ship was not just a military asset, it was a home. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer became an integral part of their lives, where the crew's personal and professional identities were deeply intertwined with the vessel's operational success. Despite the demanding nature of military life, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer also offered opportunities for rest and relaxation, albeit on a limited basis. Crew members had access to recreational areas located in the lower midsection of the ship, which were designed to offer a temporary reprieve from the stresses of duty. These recreation areas included fitness centers, game rooms, and even virtual reality simulations where crew members could engage in a variety of activities to unwind. Such spaces were essential for maintaining morale among the crew, providing them with a brief escape from the pressures of their roles in the First Order. It was here, away from their operational tasks, that many of the crew members forged lasting friendships, strengthening the bond that helped them endure the challenges of life aboard the ship. For the elite TIE fighter pilots aboard the Resurgent class, life was somewhat different from the rest of the crew. Pilots had their own dedicated quarters, located close to the hangar bays where their starfighters were stored and maintained. These quarters were designed for quick access to their ships in case of an emergency or a sudden combat alert. The living conditions in the pilots' dormitories were functional but compact, with bunk beds and cupboards assigned to each pilot for storing their gear and weapons. Every pilot had their own serial number written in Arabesh on the cupboard door, ensuring that their belongings were kept organized and secure. These quarters were designed for efficiency, enabling the pilots to quickly prepare for sorties and return to their duties with minimal delay. The First Order Special Forces, including Flame Troopers, Shadow Troopers, and other elite units, had their own specialized barracks, located near the senior command areas of the ship. These personnel were highly trained for covert and dangerous missions, often operating outside the traditional combat structure of the ship's main forces. Special Forces personnel had access to advanced weaponry and specialized equipment, and their training was focused on operations that required stealth, precision, and the ability to function in extreme conditions. These elite troops were often deployed in high-risk assignments, including sabotage, assassination, and special intelligence gathering missions, adding another layer of versatility to the Resurgent class's already impressive combat capabilities. The sickbay aboard the Resurgent class was located in the bow section of the ship, strategically positioned for quick access during battle or emergency situations. The medical facilities were fully equipped with advanced technology, including droid-assisted diagnostics, trauma care, and emergency surgery equipment, enabling medical personnel to treat a wide variety of injuries and illnesses that might occur during combat. Given the nature of warfare in the First Order, the sickbay was a critical component of the ship, ensuring that the crew remained in peak health and capable of carrying out their duties. The constant threat of combat, the unforgiving nature of life in space, and the unyielding pressure of maintaining the First Order's strength meant that vacations were rare. Crew members could take leave when operational circumstances permitted, but such opportunities were few and far between, especially during times of war or military buildup. Despite the tough conditions, however, crew members understood the significance of their mission. Life aboard the Resurgent class was demanding, but it offered a unique sense of purpose, camaraderie, and identity. The ship was not just a weapon of war, it was a home, a place where the crew's lives were intimately connected to the power and might of the First Order, and every member of the crew was an essential part of the larger mission to enforce order across the galaxy. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer was not only a marvel of engineering and military might, but it also carried a highly specialized crew, including a full complement of stormtroopers, First Order Special Forces, and various support personnel necessary to maintain its operational efficiency and combat readiness. A full legion of over 8,000 stormtroopers was stationed aboard the vessel, a formidable force dedicated to maintaining order, security, and executing ground operations during combat. These stormtroopers had access to an advanced training complex located beneath their barracks, designed to hone their combat skills, discipline, and readiness for any situation. Despite their specialized role, stormtroopers adhered strictly to the chain of command aboard the Resurgent class. The captain of the guard was the highest authority over the stormtroopers, ensuring their coordination and discipline on the ship. However, in times of crisis or combat alerts, stormtroopers were instructed to follow the orders of any officer on board, regardless of their service branch. This flexibility allowed the First Order to maintain tight control over the vessel's operations and ensure a swift, unified response during critical moments. In addition to the standard stormtroopers, the ship also hosted First Order Special Forces personnel, who were among the most elite and highly trained soldiers in the galaxy. These forces were often deployed for high-risk operations, such as sabotage, infiltration, or intelligence gathering. Their presence aboard the Resurgent class added a layer of versatility, making the ship not only a battle-ready warship, but also a vessel capable of carrying out covert operations if needed. For TIE pilots, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer included a training and briefing complex located adjacent to the lateral port hangar. This area allowed pilots to undergo specialized training in dogfighting tactics, starfighter combat, and other necessary skills for operating their TIE fighters effectively. These complex systems ensured that the pilots aboard the Resurgent class could respond quickly to any threat, ensuring that the First Order's superior space capabilities were always on standby. The engineering crew, tasked with maintaining the ship's vital systems, lived in quarters located at the bottom of the vessel, close to the reactor core. These personnel were responsible for the ship's internal operations, ensuring that power was supplied to its weapons, shields, propulsion systems, and other vital technologies. The harsh and demanding environment of the lower levels, near the reactor core, required these engineers to be resilient and highly skilled, ready to repair critical systems under pressure. As with many other Imperial-class warships, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer maintained a detention center located in the upper midsection of the ship, closer to its bow. This detention center housed prisoners captured during combat operations or those deemed a threat to the First Order. The facility was equipped to hold individuals for long periods, with its own security systems and provisions to ensure that prisoners could not escape or pose a danger to the ship's operations. For more routine maintenance and operational tasks, the Resurgent class utilized a number of Rebaxan Columni MSE-6 series repair droids, which performed a variety of functions across the vessel. These droids acted as messengers, repair assistants, and custodians, helping the crew maintain the cleanliness and functionality of the warship. Whether it was delivering messages between different sections of the ship or assisting with minor repairs in areas inaccessible to humans, the MSE-6 droids were integral to keeping the Resurgent class operating smoothly during long missions. Together, these various departments and personnel worked in unison to ensure that the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer remained one of the most formidable warships in the First Order's fleet, ready for any mission that came its way. The complex structure of crew responsibilities, from stormtroopers and special forces to engineers and pilots, created a highly efficient and deadly force, capable of both large-scale combat and specialized covert operations. The Resurgent class was more than just a vessel. It was a symbol of the First Order's uncompromising vision of order, control, and military supremacy. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is not just a formidable warship in terms of its firepower and defensive capabilities, but also in the breadth and variety of its complement, which enhances its operational flexibility and power projection across space and ground engagements. Its complement includes an impressive assortment of starfighter wings, ground vehicles, troop transports, and other essential support craft that allow the ship to carry out a wide range of missions, from fleet engagements to planetary assaults. The Resurgent class typically carries 2 full starfighter wings, enabling it to deploy a substantial number of TIE fighters in support of its operations. The fighters are an essential part of the ship's offensive and defensive strategies, capable of engaging enemy starfighters, bombers, and even capital ships in certain situations. The TIE FO Space Superiority Fighters, one of the primary starfighters in the Resurgent class's complement, are designed for superior agility and firepower in dogfights. These highly maneuverable ships are armed with powerful blasters and are capable of holding their own against both enemy fighters and larger targets. They are intended to establish air superiority during combat operations and protect the Resurgent class from smaller, faster enemy ships. In addition to the standard TIE/FO fighters, the TIE/SF Space Superiority Fighters also serve aboard the Resurgent class. These advanced starfighters are equipped with more sophisticated weapon systems, including advanced targeting systems and payloads of proton torpedoes, making them formidable opponents in space battles. These ships are designed to perform well in coordinated attacks against enemy capital ships and other larger targets, further augmenting the Resurgent class's offensive capabilities. To provide additional support in heavy bombardment and strike operations, the Resurgent class carries TIE/SE bombers. These bombers are specialized in delivering devastating payloads of proton bombs and other heavy munitions against enemy vessels, ground installations, and even capital ships. The bombers can be used in precision strikes or in large-scale bombardment campaigns, enabling the Resurgent class to engage heavily fortified targets with extreme lethality. For troop transport operations, the Resurgent class deploys AAL 1971/9.1 troop transports, 100 units in total. These transports are capable of carrying large numbers of first-order ground troops, as well as specialized equipment and vehicles for planetary invasions or peacekeeping operations. The transports are well protected and designed to launch from the Resurgent class in rapid succession, deploying forces efficiently to the surface of a planet or into hostile environments. The Resurgent class also carries numerous ground vehicles, which include armored transports, combat vehicles, and other logistic support units needed for planetary operations. These vehicles are vital for ground assaults, allowing the First Order to quickly secure territory, conduct siege operations, and establish dominance over occupied planets. In addition to ground vehicles, the Resurgent class includes a prefabricated ground base, which can be deployed on a planetary surface to provide secure, fortified installations. This base can be set up quickly, allowing the First Order to establish footholds on planets, providing command centers, supply depots, and defensive positions for ground forces. The ship is also equipped with a First Order light cruiser. This smaller vessel operates alongside the Resurgent class, serving as an escort or support craft in various missions. The light cruiser is equipped with its own weapon systems, starfighters, and other support equipment, allowing it to carry out independent operations or assist in larger fleet engagements. Together, the complement of starfighters, transports, ground vehicles, and auxiliary ships make the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer an extremely versatile vessel, capable of carrying out multi-domain operations that span from space battles to planetary invasions. Its ability to project power across both space and ground-based theaters makes it a formidable force in the galaxy, embodying the military strength and operational flexibility of the First Order. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer was designed and manufactured by Quat and Trala Engineering, a renowned company that played a pivotal role in the development of warships for the First Order. As a successor to the older Imperial-class Star Destroyers, the Resurgent class was engineered with advanced technologies and updated systems to meet the specific strategic needs of the First Order during its rise to power. The design process for the Resurgent class began with the intent to create a ship that was both a symbol of the First Order's strength and an effective tool for advanced ship-to-ship combat. While the Imperial-class Star Destroyers were heavily used throughout the Galactic Empire, the First Order sought to improve upon their weaknesses, such as their vulnerable bridge structures and the limited efficiency of their hangar bays. The Resurgent class addressed these issues with a redesigned command bridge and more efficient fighter launch systems, improving both survivability and operational effectiveness. It also incorporated design elements from the Republic's Venator-class Star Destroyers, as well as technological advancements developed in the years since the Clone Wars. In terms of construction and logistics, the Resurgent class was built using advanced modular production techniques. The process was highly efficient, with the ship being constructed in separate prefabricated modules that were then assembled at the Quat shipyards. This modular production allowed for faster construction times and more precise assembly, as the various parts of the ship could be built concurrently in different facilities before being brought together for final assembly. It also helped streamline the production process, making it more adaptable to changing needs and potential upgrades. Quad and Trala engineering shipyards, known for their scale and expertise in building massive warships, provided the necessary infrastructure for the Resurgent class's assembly. These shipyards were equipped with state-of-the-art facilities that allowed for the construction of vessels of such immense size, which included massive dry docks, precision assembly stations, and advanced manufacturing technologies for weaponry, reactor systems, and propulsion. The construction of the Resurgent class required a highly specialized workforce, with employees from various fields including engineers, technicians, and construction workers. The employees worked in coordinated shifts, handling tasks that ranged from reactor assembly to weapon installations, as well as overseeing the integration of complex systems like the hyperdrive and shield generators. Given the size and complexity of the ship, many of the workers were stationed on site at the shipyards, often working long hours to meet the strict deadlines imposed by the First Order leadership. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, despite being designed and built with the primary aim of military superiority, also incorporated a level of aesthetic design that reflected the First Order's ideology. This included the sharp, intimidating lines of the ship's dagger-shaped hull, which evoked feelings of strength and domination, key traits the First Order sought to project. The integration of such design elements was the result of collaboration between military strategists and design engineers, ensuring that the Resurgent class was not only a fearsome weapon of war, but also a visual representation of the First Order's dominance over the galaxy. Upon completion, the Resurgent-class ships were distributed to various fleets within the First Order's military. Their construction, though rapid, was meticulously planned and executed, ensuring the vessel's readiness for the many campaigns the First Order would soon undertake. With a combination of advanced construction methods, highly skilled labor, and a unified vision for military supremacy, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers became central to the First Order's naval operations, playing a key role in their campaigns against the New Republic and other forces challenging their rule. Following the Galactic Empire's defeat at the Battle of Jakku and the signing of the Galactic Concordance, which marked the official end of the Galactic Civil War, the galaxy entered a period of relative peace. However, this peace was short-lived, as the First Order, a military dictatorship secretly formed by former Imperial loyalists, began its rise to power in the unknown regions. The First Order's leadership, eager to restore the ideals and might of the Galactic Empire, began the construction of a new class of warships, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers, in secret. Despite the terms of the Galactic Concordance prohibiting the construction of large military fleets, the First Order's leadership defied these regulations, secretly establishing shipyards and facilities in the unknown regions to produce their new vessels. The Resurgent class was designed to be a cutting-edge, highly capable warship that would allow the First Order to project power across the galaxy and challenge the remnants of the New Republic. The construction of the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers was a highly secretive and illegal operation, carried out in hidden facilities to avoid detection by the New Republic and other galactic powers. These new warships were created on recently constructed shipyards and secret facilities that were well protected, often operating in isolation from the greater galaxy. Despite these efforts to keep the ship's existence under wraps, the Resurgent class soon became a cornerstone of the First Order's growing military. As the First Order prepared for its campaigns, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers were one of the most important pieces of its fleet. These ships were intended not only to be powerful warships in their own right, but also to serve as symbols of the First Order's resurgence, a physical manifestation of their military might and their break from the crumbling Empire's legacy. By the time of the Battle of Starkiller Base, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers had evolved into an essential component of the First Order's fleet. Their massive size, heavy weaponry, and imposing presence made them formidable opponents to anyone who dared challenge the First Order's dominance. However, despite their growing strength and military presence, the Resurgent class was still considered a relatively new model, and its production was ongoing. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyers became part of a new era of conflict in the galaxy, one dominated by the First Order and their quest for control. Their presence marked the beginning of a new, dangerous chapter in galactic history, with the First Order's fleet striking fear into the hearts of those who opposed their rule. Drawing inspiration from the Imperial-class Star Destroyers of the old Empire, the First Order faced limitations in resources and infrastructure that made it impossible to construct the sheer volume of massive capital ships once produced by the Empire. Despite this, the First Order's design philosophy consciously embraced the psychological impact that the sight of an Imperial-class Star Destroyer had on its enemies. The sight of these enormous warships, with their looming, dagger-like shapes and overwhelming firepower, symbolized the dominance and power of the Empire, and the First Order sought to replicate this effect. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer was designed not only to fulfill the First Order's military needs, but also to inspire fear and respect among the galaxy's inhabitants, just as the Imperial class had done in its heyday. While it did not match the sheer size and production numbers of the old Empire's ships, the Resurgent class incorporated key elements from the Imperial class to evoke the same sense of awe and intimidation. The design included a heavily reinforced bow, a forward-facing flight deck, prominent side hangars, and a well-defined keel, all reminiscent of the design elements seen in the Imperial-class Star Destroyers. Additionally, the Resurgent class also drew from the Old Republic's Venator-class Star Destroyers, whose design emphasized versatility and carrier capabilities. The First Order tacticians recognized the growing importance of capital ships serving not just as battleships, but also as mobile carriers capable of deploying starfighters and other assets. With this in mind, the Resurgent class included more efficient flight decks and hangar bays that allowed for quicker deployment of TIE fighters and other ships in combat. This renewed emphasis on carrier functionality helped ensure that the Resurgent class could meet the evolving demands of modern warfare, where flexibility and rapid deployment were as critical as sheer firepower. By combining the psychological impact of the Imperial class with the more versatile and carrier-oriented elements of the Venator class, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer stood as a perfect symbol of the First Order's rise. It maintained the iconic visual elements that defined the Empire's power while adapting to new needs, creating a formidable force on the battlefield that was capable of striking fear into its enemies, while also maintaining operational flexibility for its commanders. With its improved bridge tower and enhanced fighting capabilities, the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer quickly became the cornerstone of the First Order Navy, gradually replacing the older, less advanced Imperial-class Star Destroyers that had once been the backbone of the Empire's fleet. One of the most notable advancements in the Resurgent class was the better protected bridge tower, which ensured greater durability and command control during battles, a crucial improvement made following lessons learned from the loss of key Imperial vessels, such as the Executor. The off-center bridge design, combined with the redundant command systems, provided enhanced operational resilience, making the Resurgent class more difficult to incapacitate. Additionally, the Resurgent class was designed to facilitate quicker fighter combat reaction times. This was achieved through efficient flight decks, faster hangar operations, and tactical systems that allowed TIE fighters to be deployed and engaged rapidly. As a result, the ship could maintain a strong offensive presence, coordinating devastating fighter support alongside its formidable turbo-laser batteries. This synergy between capital ship firepower and fighter support made the Resurgent class a versatile and dangerous adversary in space combat, capable of striking at enemy forces with overwhelming force while maintaining superior fleet coordination. Despite the overwhelming power and size of the Resurgent class, the Resistance's intelligence branch was suspicious that the First Order had larger, more advanced warships under development in secret. These rumors and speculations hinted at the possibility of even more massive capital ships that could surpass the Resurgent class in both firepower and size, further increasing the First Order's military capabilities. As the Resurgent class continued to serve as the First Order's mainstay, the Resistance remained on high alert, knowing that the First Order's secretive nature and vast resources meant that they could possess even more terrifying warships, ready to shape the future of galactic conflict. General Armitage Hux and Kylo Ren, key figures of the First Order, utilized the Finalizer, the lead ship of the Resurgent class, over 3 decades after the Battle of Endor. Their mission was to track down Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, who had vanished years before. The Finalizer was instrumental in launching the attack on Twanel, a pivotal operation aimed at eliminating key resistance forces and advancing the First Order's dominance. From its command deck, Hux and Ren directed the assault, demonstrating the overwhelming firepower and strategic importance of the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers in the First Order's military operations. In addition to the Finalizer, 30 Resurgent-class Star Destroyers took part in the Battle of Ochi, including other formidable vessels like the Harbinger and the Conqueror. The First Order's strength during this battle was undeniable, with its Resurgent-class Star Destroyers dominating the field. The Resistance, however, was aware of the presence of these massive warships, and intelligence suggested that at least 30 Resurgent-class vessels were actively engaged in the conflict, a significant force in any battle. The Resistance, led by Vice Admiral Amelin Holdo, managed to strike a decisive blow to the First Order's forces in a desperate and courageous move. During the battle, Holdo's ramming attack destroyed 20 of the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers, including several from the First Order's flagship fleet, severely crippling their ability to project power and respond to the Resistance's continued operations. Despite this loss, the First Order's resilience and the immense firepower of its Resurgent-class fleet ensured that they remained a constant threat in the ongoing galactic struggle. At least 17 Resurgent-class Star Destroyers, including the Finalizer, were present during the First Order's destruction of the planet Tanuna. These formidable ships, accompanied by a Mandator full-class siege dreadnought, unleashed overwhelming firepower on the planet, demonstrating the might of the First Order and the terrifying capabilities of its fleet. The Finalizer and its sister ships played a central role in this destruction, cementing the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer as a symbol of the First Order's ruthlessness and commitment to enforcing their rule across the galaxy. After the obliteration of Tahanuhna, the Finalizer was stationed at Batu, accompanied by 2 other Resurgent-class Star Destroyers. These ships engaged Resistance forces above the planet, continuing their pursuit of the remnants of the Resistance. The presence of the Finalizer and its sister vessels signified the First Order's dominance in the region, and their relentless efforts to eliminate any threats to their control. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyers also played a significant role in the Eos system, where a fleet of 14 Resurgent-class Star Destroyers arrived after a resistance cell, led by Kazuda Siono, took refuge on the planet Ios Prime. The First Order's fleet immediately bombarded the planet, causing widespread devastation and the deaths of many Iosians, a tragic consequence of the First Order's expansionist efforts. The bombardment of Eos Prime further demonstrated the immense firepower of the Resurgent class, and the First Order's unwavering commitment to silencing any resistance to their regime. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer Steadfast played a pivotal role during the Battle of Exegol, as it commanded the fleet of the Sith Eternal, the Final Order. The Steadfast, along with the other Resurgent-class Star Destroyers, was a key instrument in the Sith's final push to dominate the galaxy. However, the ship's fate took a dramatic turn when Finn and Janna, aboard a stolen First Order ship, used one of the Steadfast's own turbo-lasers to destroy its command deck. The destruction of the command deck severely crippled the vessel, and it eventually crashed onto the surface of Exegol, detonating in a massive explosion that signaled the fall of the Sith Eternal's forces. Following the defeat of the Sith and the collapse of the First Order, several Resurgent-class Star Destroyers, including those in the Final Order's fleet, were targeted by the citizens of the galaxy. In a show of defiance and unity against the oppressive regime, these vessels were attacked during a large-scale uprising. The remnants of the once feared fleet were toppled, marking the final end of the First Order's dominance and signaling the beginning of a new era of galactic freedom.